Welcome to KultureFit, everyone, where East meets West in the world of health and fitness. I'm joined today, as always, by the amazing Aaron Rolley.
Hello.
And today in studio we have the gorgeous Liv Lo with us. Welcome, Liv.
Hi, thank you. Nice to be here.
Great to have you, and we've got so much to talk about today. I think let's start off with the new program that you're launching and your new initiative, FitSphere. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, thanks for starting with that. So FitSphere is actually my own brand of bodyweight exercise. I've been teaching yoga for 3 years. I've been practicing yoga for 11 years. And I found that yoga just kind of wasn't enough fitness-wise. You get a lot of benefit from yoga, being lean, you get a lot of flexibility, and a lot of, you get good mind, body, breath kind of connection. But with FitSphere, I wanted to go beyond that. I wanted to be able to use my workouts, use my yoga practice as a way to get fit. So I started combining it with a little bit of HIIT, and it's done incredibly well. For myself personally, I love the combination of being able to use yoga, the breath work, but then also being able to combine the high intensity from HIIT to be able to make it a really conscious, mindful workout. And also a lot of the workouts that, a lot of the postures from yoga are, you can find them in HIIT as well. So like squats, for example, are chair pose, or chaturanga, push-ups. There's a lot of kind of combination. So you can actually practice HIIT much more safely when you have the foundation of a yoga practice, because you know a little bit about alignment, you have a better balance, but you don't get the burst. So there's no push back. And I found that I got my ass kicked when I went to Spartan race. I was like, I've been doing yoga for 11 years. I can, kick this. It's no problem. And then I had to do monkey bars and I couldn't hang. I had no grip. My forearms were weak. And I was like, why is this? And I started to look into that more. Like, what is it about that I'm not getting balanced? What can I improve on? I get a great, it's posture from yoga, really good breathing, really good flexibility, but what else can I gain from other theories of movement? And so I started to explore that, and that's when FitSphere came about.
Awesome. And I think what you're saying, you can achieve all of these things, and it doesn't mean having to lift heavy weights to achieve them either.
Correct. I find that a lot of girls, they don't want to necessarily get big and bulky. And for myself as well, I was just lifting my own body weight, and I found that to be really, really good, because I didn't want to necessarily change anything about me. I just wanted to get stronger and be able to achieve maybe certain asanas that required a little bit more strength. And once I started doing high intensity interval training, I was able to kind of break through that plateau, do over an hour's class and not be tired. Get to the peak pose in a yoga class and feel like I can still breathe there, and not like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I just need to lay down. So yeah, for me it was a really nice combination.
And so, your audience for your program would be obviously all of your followers and people that have you've taught before or are in your classes. But also anyone that's just wanting to get stronger. They don't need to go to a gym. They can do this at home, anywhere, which is the idea, right?
Yeah. Funny enough, I used to do workout videos when I was a teenager. Like Claudia Schiffer was my all-time idol. She had an amazing body. Oh my God. And then what was it? The Billy was Tybo. Like there was just some funny, like I have these memories growing up, and I guess it's made a lasting impression on me. But one thing about those videos was that you didn't need anything else but the video. It didn't come in a fancy kit where you needed to go buy more material. Once you got the video, whether it be VHS, CD, whatever it is, that was enough. And now with the internet, we can do that ourselves. We have our devices, we have busy lives, but we have our device with us all the time, so we can work out wherever we are. And I find myself in the position where I forget my shoes, I forget proper clothing, and then that becomes my excuse not to do anything. Yeah. So I wanted to take away all those excuses and say, hey, all you need is you. Like,
Yeah.
just do something, and that's it. And you'll go along this journey. You'll start to learn. You'll start to find a lot of benefits, and that's what I want everybody to be able to attain.
But I think in the ideal world, we'd all master these bodyweight exercises before you move on to anything else anyway. So, I mean, if that's it, it's a good place to start. And then if you haven't got any equipment, or that's the way you want to train, it's probably always a good place to go back to as well. So it's a good way to train.
And especially even with a yoga posture, even with, let's say, high knees. When you're running in place, if you haven't done it in a while, you know, it still kicks your ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing with a yoga posture. You're never done with it. Like, let's say for a handstand, you're always looking for that place where you can balance.
Or fall over.
Or fall comfortably, or fall safely. And you'll find that whenever you get back to that posture or get back to something, it's still teaching you something new. And it's nothing forceful in the sense that you have to do it, but it's something that you're like, oh, I can be better. I can do this a little bit better. Wow, that was my benchmark before. How much more should I work to get back here? Yeah. It's something that's continuously with you. So I believe fitness isn't a goal. It's something that's your lifestyle. And that's what's really great about doing a body weight exercise or doing something consistently, is that you start to figure things out and know what you love and where you can work.
And then coming back from the other side, so, you know, we've talked about from yoga to HIIT, but for people doing HIIT now that aren't necessarily doing yoga, this could be a really good combination as well. So someone like me.
And you've been coming to the studio and seeing your beautiful face around. Yes, so of course flexibility is a huge thing, and unfortunately as we age our body shrinks. So not only do we want to build muscle mass, but we also need it to be long and lean. And it's just something that, you know, us being a little bit older, we kind of figure out, oh my gosh, I cannot take this stuff for granted. Every day my body is changing, and I need to be able to maintain, if I want to live like a long, healthy life. I want to be strong, and I want to, you know, be healthy. I need to kind of do this little bit now, and I can have all of this later on.
Yeah, awesome.
So I think yoga really gives that. Yoga, like if you see yogis, for some reason I don't think you really lose that flexibility if you've been doing it for a long time. Like, it's crazy. Now I'm able to just pop into a pose without any warm up. Especially like in a photo shoot or anything, and people are just like, what, how did you do that without any warm-up? You just kind of you retain that. Your body has muscle memory, it has memory on how it can do things, so it's not like it's just going to all disappear if you miss a week or a month.
Yes,
but it will be harder to get into for sure.
Yeah.
You're probably moving a lot better during the day if you're a good yogi, and then from that daily sort of movement, you're getting sort of your joints are getting a full range of motion, as opposed to if you're not very flexible and you're sort of just tightening up more and more. But when you sit, you're like sitting in a good position.
Correct. Like you sit like yogi, like you sit with cross-legged. I sit like that in an airplane. And then you also
I don't know if you've been
or I switch from one leg to the other. Yeah, I just do the best I can, but I think it just naturally goes into your posture as well, the way you carry yourself. A big part of yoga is meditation and breathing, and you start to incorporate that into your day-to-day. So whether you're walking, or if it's not exactly your thing, but you're doing a run, you start to try to incorporate the yogi's breath and see if it helps you. And someone else was asking me, just like, okay, so what do I do if I want to just do a little bit every day and I don't have the time? I said, you know what? Do squats while you're brushing your teeth. You cannot tell me that there's no time when you're 2 minutes brushing your teeth. That's 2 minutes of squats. Go girl, do that. Call me back when you've done that.
And that's a good point. If you don't have time for even 20 minutes a day, right?
Yes.
Then something's wrong in your life.
And that's the amazing thing about HIIT, is that you get such an optimal workout in such a short amount of time, and you can burst and do this anywhere.
Yeah. So we're going to look for people around Asia just bursting down doing squats,
waiting
for an elevator or something, right? Oh,
that would be very interesting.
Yeah, let's just follow people around on a video.
Or instead of walking down the street,
they're lunging
down the road.
This is the ideal world. Then, isn't it?
I like
This
it.
is our ideal world. Let's
I
create
like
this.
it. Yeah. At the cash register down, doing push-ups.
Doing calf raises.
Yeah.
And Liv, do you have a daily meditation practice, or?
I wouldn't say daily. It's there when I need it.
Yeah.
So if I'm about to host an event or I need to really like just ground myself or become centered or focused, I will take a little bit of time to do it, because there's also so many different kinds of meditation. For me, yoga is my meditation practice. It's a moving meditation. I'm working out things on the mat. My mind is going places and, coming to an understanding. I meditate in the shower. When you just like take a moment and you just close your eyes and you focus on maybe an issue that's bothering you and you just clear your mind. I think that meditation doesn't have to be that seated posture that's so famous and so widely known. If you can do that, if you can sit still, then you should. But if not, try doing it anywhere. Like it could be, maybe not when you're cooking, but it could be, right before a meal, close your eyes, give thanks, just take a moment. It's really, I think meditation, same thing as exercise. People think that it needs to be a long period of time, but it could be just while you're in a cab, just a few moments. And that's for me. I get my meditation maybe daily in that sense, but not in the traditional sense of sitting down and taking time to breathe.
But you're teaching your students, Liv, about meditation, or is that a big part of your practice? Or?
So in FitSphere, I do have one episode which is meditation, because mind is part of the whole exercise, right? It's my mental health, I feel, is definitely overlooked. And it connects to physical health as well. If you don't have a strong mind, or you're not also working on the mental bit, the body isn't able to catch up. So there's a lot of like athletes that are able to do long distance runs and amazing feats. And it's not just them depending on their body and their breath, because that's not enough. When you're there for hours on end, what are you going to do? It's mental. It's mental.
Those ultra events especially.
Yeah.
It's more a mental game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's mental. You're not going fast, but it's mental.
Yes. Yeah. So I do want to stress that point. But same thing, I don't want to force it on anyone.
Yeah.
The video is there. You can skip it. You can do it. You can do it as many times as you like, until you feel that you kind of got it down. But it's not something that is a goal either. You can't sit and like, I nailed this meditation. There's no way that's going to happen. If you feel good, you've got it. That's enough. And so in FitSphere, I do a guided meditation. It's about 15 minutes long. And it's really just to pass on a few like nooks of knowledge and a few ideas that can really help with your day or help with whatever you're going through, and to be able to just drop into a meditation if you know how to get into that space. So teaching you those techniques on just taking yourself away and out of things.
Nice, much more usable for the everyday
So like you
person.
for sure, Nat, if you don't have to sit still.
Yeah,
You can keep
running
moving while
is
you're
me.
meditating,
Running on my own is definitely my
Yes,
meditation,
yes.
because I'm just focused and in the moment. I don't
Well,
know
a good
the
way
music.
to know what
Yeah.
you do is when you're stressed, where do you go?
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
So if you go to for a meal, okay, fine. Take a moment, eat slow. Be mindful of each bite you take, and how you feel and why is it that you feel this way. That can be your meditation. Like, it's really just, instead of running away from those emotions, it's focusing on them and dealing with it. For me, that's really the benefit of a meditation.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
We could do that with drinking as well, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's try.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's
Just
try
think about
this.
the drink as it's going down.
And how
You can
amazing
watch
it's
that.
making.
Yeah. I'll cheer you on.
What's beyond?
Yeah. And, being across the health and fitness industry in Asia, what are you seeing change, especially for 2018?
Wow. So I've been in Singapore for 5 years, and I particularly came here because I wanted to switch over from modeling to hosting, and what came out of that was yoga as well. I took my first teacher training when I first got here, and I noticed that the yoga scene was huge. I was taking my training at Pure. So in the heart of CBD, I started to notice like the yogis would take me around to all the healthy places to eat, but it was all word of mouth. Like, ooh, do you know this salad bar? Do you know this juice place? Blah, blah, blah. So when I saw that, I was like, why is this not readily available and common knowledge? Yeah. So I made a website called Stretch City when I came out of that yoga teacher training. I didn't become a teacher. And this website was a community website to connect the events that were going on, the healthy events, and the yoga studios, the food that you can eat to maintain, like if you're looking for chia seeds, back then it was kind of hard, where you can go for the best price or the vegetarian food that you want to get. That was only around for 2 years. We became Purely Bee. We sold to Purely Bee, and now they're still running as the leading health and wellness website for, I would say, Malaysia, Southeast Asia. And from there, it's even gotten bigger. So what I'm trying to say is that engine became too big to run, even with me and 2 other people. We branched out of Singapore. We went to Shanghai and Hong Kong as well, started throwing our own events. And that's really when everything started to boom. A few very prominent brands came into Singapore, started their headquarters here. So I would say really in the last 3 years, this fitness thing has just gone huge, with public events, with yoga studios. There's new concepts of fitness opening up. And it's really inspiring to see just how huge it's come, how far it's become, and yeah, I don't know where it's going to go from here. Like how much? I mean, it's going to go further, but I just hope that we're like Nat, and we're kind of in the center of all of this. It's very exciting for us to experience it all. So yeah, really, really huge, isn't it? What do you feel?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think there's a lot opening. I think there'll be some successful, some not successful, like anything, and most definitely in yoga too, there's fads, you know, there's no doubt certain yoga types or classes that come out that are named something strange that last and don't last, as does different types of
I think
exercise.
The difference in yoga in Singapore would be that it's definitely it's not that it's trendy, but people come to it for fitness. So we don't really meditate in the studio. We don't focus on particular portions of the class to be purely breathing. And we don't really Om either. Yeah. So it's gone away from... Huh?
You
never liked the Om?
No, I love the meditation at the end, but I never like the
if you get out of the oh my god, people can hear me, just do it. Like there's something about vibrations and letting out the sound that really helps. And it's Om is the sound of the universe. It is. So you're actually making a universal sound. But this is all the traditional stuff that has been kind of watered down, and students don't really know this information when you're in a yoga studio or in a yoga class. So it's interesting to see where it's going to go. I think that a lot of teachers, I've gotten my yoga teacher training for many years. I want to go and get another one, but I don't know what the teachers coming out, what their philosophy is on yoga. It's interesting to see what the new trend of yoga teachers are like, and I really want to be able to, it's not just that there's a lineage that needs to be passed down per se, but people need to practice safe, and they need to get a certain amount, a certain depth of knowledge at minimum from yoga. You have to.
Yeah, we talked about the teacher training, and same with PTs. It's quite unregulated in this part of the world, and how important it is to choose your class, to choose your instructor.
So that's the most common questions I get asked. What should I do for a newbie in a yoga class? And the second one is, how do I become a yoga teacher? For a newbie in a yoga class, you can be maybe not have the best experience from your first try. It really depends on where you are and how you feel too, and the teacher. So there's a lot of elements that come into play, and let's say you don't really connect with the teacher, don't write yoga off. There's maybe someone else that will connect with you on this, and they will inspire you, and they'll be able to get that message across to you, because yoga is very personal. the reasons why I would go to yoga and you go to yoga are completely different. And that's exactly the same for everybody. They have their personal reason to go. And if your personal reason isn't met, then still keep looking for it. Don't just give up there.
That's good advice. Yeah. It's
And
a bit
there's
like
a
your
lot of-
trainers, right? You swap people in your PT studio amongst all your different PTs.
We try to do
Yeah.
that. I mean, people push back a bit against that, but actually I think you can get a lot more out of it. I think the yoga studio you practice at, they tend to rotate the instructors around a bit as well, right? So, I mean, I think that you can get used to someone and obviously you really like them, they've given you some good results. But that doesn't mean that someone else can't give you something from a different angle that maybe makes something a little bit better or makes you understand something a little bit more clearly. I think it's a benefit in fitness and different stages of your fitness journey. Like you were saying, like you go to a certain yoga class and that teacher might be perfect for your beginner journey, but then when you get to a bit higher level, you need a different instructor. It's the same with personal training as well. Some trainers can take you to a certain point, and then after that,
you need to figure it out. So what do you think then about all the combinations that are coming out? What is it? Like we did boxing the other day with the, what is it, the soul cycle style? Still boxing. So
boxing
the concept.
with a cycling
Well, no, it was no cycle. It wasn't a cycle.
But like the idea of the dark room, the
Yeah.
music, and so so Soul Cycle's the first one to come out with that. Now they have the boxing style that's really popular. I don't know.
Whatever people enjoy, right? As long as
they're moving.
safe, as long as it's safe as well, and the instructor knows.
Yeah,
what
but
they're
that's the
doing.
thing. Are they trained to do it?
Yeah.
Really? I think that they're trained to maybe box, but then
Being a good athlete doesn't make you a good instructor.
yeah, true.
Necessarily,
This is
right?
so true, right?
Yeah.
Just because someone, and you notice that in yoga as well, just because someone can do a position properly doesn't mean she can teach or he can
Break it
teach
down.
someone how to do that position. They just might be genetically gifted that they can pop into the position, right? Or,
Very true. I've seen people come to yoga for the first time and pop into a handstand. And I'm like, I've been practicing that for many years, and you just zip, zip, zip up there.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous thing, especially in fitness as well, because if you see someone that looks very fit, you could maybe jump to the conclusion that they know how that they became fit, whereas actually maybe they've got zero idea how they got there as well.
And their diet's terrible and they're just naturally gifted. I hate those people.
And in a country with zero regulation, that could be a big problem.
I think it goes beyond just Asia. I think that's just social
media
media in general.
Social media.
I think it's online in general. It's like, where is your training from? A lot of these people, they put out free workouts all the time, and that's how they get really popular, because people love something for free. They love routine, and they love the fact that, your booty's out or something.
Yeah.
So that combination gets you a lot of popularity. But does the popularity quantify safety, and does it quantify people getting results, things like that?
Oh, they drink skinny mint tea with it, and then you get results.
I actually
don't drink skinny mint tea.
the way that I see the perfect fitness idea would be not so like it's my worst fear to see these people teaching people about fitness. It's more what you're doing, where people can do it anywhere. They're learning how to use their body. I mean, that's the way that fitness should be.
And there's a mind element as well, right? Yeah.
Because if you're not conscious or aware of what you're doing, then it's mindless. And I use the example of running on a treadmill watching TV.
Oh,
that's terrible.
And do people get it? Or I see them people reading the newspaper while on a bike, and it's like your legs are moving, but do you care if you're breathing, or if your mind is completely someone else? It needs to be combined in order to do well.
You need to be present.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your body is not separate.
Yeah.
I don't want even people checking their phone when I'm training them. It's like, take your phone, put it on, unless something's happening, fair enough, right? You've got some kids at home or whatever. But you want them just to turn the phone off, give that hour to fitness or whatever it is, 40 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it is, just devote it to exercise, and your phone's going to be there at the end. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, it is. What is your one item you can't live without when it comes to health and fitness?
Oh, I don't know. Do you have one?
Water bottle?
Coffee.
Maybe?
Yeah, water.
Coffee. Yeah.
Especially in the morning.
Coffee.
I never really take supplements or anything like that.
Do you travel with yoga straps or yoga block or anything like that?
Definitely with my reusable water bottle. I always have that. I use it on the plane, and I use it I just carry it in my bag. If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated, so just drink water all the time. And I drink tap water. Like it's amazing that you can do that here. So I think that is my absolute necessary accessory.
Yeah, I think water bottle is key. And you see now, no one's buying the plastic, ones in studio, or unless they've forgotten something, they're all walking around with
which is good.
Their own. Which is
that was actually an initiative. We can talk about that later. It's an initiative I asked them to do. I was just like, and they're really nice. They took it out. They used to put it right on the countertop. It was an issue for a lot of yogis. It's like, how is this not? This is part of the message too,
Well, we can talk. You're very, you've gone down an environmental track as well to support everything you're doing. So we're talking about an initiative at Yoga Movement now.
Yes, correct. So it was something that I asked them. I said, can you put in a water fountain? And they said, well, actually you can just use tap water. So it's about educating the students on what they should be doing instead of just giving them something that's the easy way out. So what we did was took the water bottles off the counter. You can still buy them if you ask, but it's a huge shift now. And the water wasn't even for profit anyhow. It was just simply a necessity. You need to have water if you're doing hot yoga. So it's completely shifted. So you see, and it's so healthy to see everyone come with their own water bottle. I think it's fantastic, and you should still see the shocked faces that I get when I'm filling up my water in the bathroom.
Not bathroom water.
It's the same thing.
It's okay. It's probably
the toilet the bathroom isn't dirty. The sink, the water that comes out of the faucet's the same as anywhere else.
And then you've also participated in a couple of festivals over the last 12 months
Wonder Fruit. I think donating yoga to festivals. It's part of something that I want to give back. And I work with Green is the New Black, do quite a few talks and yoga classes to focus on ecology and just the way that the world is changing, and try to raise consciousness and raise the idea that this is all interconnected. It's not just I do yoga and I'm good. It's connected to the way you live and the people and how that can influence your world and the world as a whole. So I try to do that as much as possible. It's really my philanthropic work, I would say. And I've thrown last year when I kind of had this awakening, I would say, was when I watched that Leonardo DiCaprio film. I forget the name now.
I know the one you mean though. We can put it in the notes. That's okay.
No, I
remember
the one where he went around and just telling people who went to India and
So after I watched the film, I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. It was something that really affected me to my core, to being like, why am I a yogi and I didn't know this common knowledge? Why is it not part of the way of life to be, to live organically, to live as natural as possible, but then we're consuming all this stuff and we're not even aware of our consumption and how that affects the rest. It's like we want our healthy foods, but what does that even mean if it's coming in all this plastic packaging, and it's just silly that it's not well-rounded. So it's all about information too. So I threw an event with Green is the New Black to screen the movie. We had a talk. It was really, really good. And it just kind of escalated from there. So I'm still trying to do that as much as possible, still trying to put the word out. And I think Singapore, there was a poll where most of Singaporeans do want to live greener. So they just need to be given the opportunity. So we'll see what I do next. I don't want to put it out there now, but I want to ban plastic bags in Singapore from supermarkets.
There seems to be a big pushback against that though. For some reason, they seem to be reticent to want to give up plastic
they
bags.
did it in Australia, and they're all back in the shops in Australia.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's the money. So where is the money coming from, and which companies are supporting this? The more that you can support the companies that are trying to do good, it's not just voting with your dollars, but you're giving them budget to fight the other companies too, and to sustain. it's because those huge corporations have so much money. They subsidize everything. It's basically, look, if you do this, we'll give it to you for free. And they're like, well, we're going to make $1 billion, so fine.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
But what do we want to replace the bags with? So with paper bags? Or
Paper bags, or bring your own bags. We bring our own.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because I was in supermarket the other day and a guy bought tissue.
And he put it in
he put it in a massive plastic bag. And I asked the lady that, because she was giving it to him, I said, but he knows there's a handle, right? And she said, yeah, but he asked for a plastic bag, so what can I do? 2 people, completely uneducated. One, the fact that he has a handle, she just had to say, but you have a handle, just take it like that. B, if the company had told her that this is our brand philosophy, tell your customer this, then she would have, but it's not. They just give the customer what they want. So it's very strange.
Or charge for them, like the US they charge.
Yeah, I'm okay with charging.
Charging,
stuff.
Like 10 cents a bag or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's, that one little change. That and the plastic water bottles.
But I love this line, donating yoga. I think it's great. Donating yoga. You're donating your yoga to the cause.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a way that people that are passionate about fitness, I mean, more of us should do that, right? It's like donating fitness back to the community.
Absolutely.
To help as many people as we can, because it's only going to be a benefit to us. The more people that are interested in fitness, the more people that are going to do your program or come to me for personal training, or I don't know what you're going to do, Nat.
Yeah, just swim around. Yeah.
It's creating a bigger pool for all of us.
It's positive living.
It's true. It's positive living, and it's just healthful living. It's wealth, right? It's well, WELLTH instead of WEA.
You've got all good lines.
Wealth.
Quickly jot a few of those down.
No, that's from Jacob Wachtob. I can't pronounce his last name properly. Jacob, he owns the website. My mind is going. Green
is Mind Body Green.
Mind Body Green. Yes, Mind Body Green. So he wrote a book, and it's called Wealth, and how wellness is the wealth now. It's not just a luxury that a certain few people can have. It's something that everyone can have, and it's a resource that you can give to yourself.
Yeah, and they should.
I think exercise and movement is getting cheaper and more accessible. I still think that healthy eating still seems to be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, nutrition.
Yeah. Because everything's probably from the US. So all these cheap foods that shouldn't be subsidized, to me, seem to be subsidized, where we should be subsidizing apples and fruit and vegetables and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. You can buy Mars bars or whatever cheaper than you can buy fruit.
When you buy
it shouldn't be.
It should be that way, yeah.
A meal deal's cheaper.
Think about the amount of ingredients in that one
and
one
how
bar.
it has to come from all these different directions, and to me, I just don't understand it.
It's just manufactured. Something you can manufacture and conjure up is at a cheaper price than something that comes from nature, because nature now is not a given. Right? You don't know if you're going to have a good crop anymore, but it does feed into the next, because if you are focusing on that industry versus on the manufacture industry or the processed industry, then the whole cycle of life just flows better.
We all think so. But we just need some higher powers to start doing something about it.
So it all feeds into the next. So I think health and fitness is a really good entry point to a lot of eye-opening things, and just to the world around you in general.
Just to feeling better, right?
Feeling better.
I think definitely feeling better.
Yeah.
To feeling better, and feeling better is a huge thing, because the moment that you feel good, you want more.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to feel good all the time.
Give me some more of that.
Exactly. And then it's so that's, I think maybe that's the goal. Just feel better, feel good. However you can, feel good.
Exactly. Yeah. And so what's on your agenda for the next 12 months? What's that hold?
Pushing, feeling good is the new looking good, fit sphere, that kind of concept. Working with Reebok Woman to push their brand messages. I think now is always training, which is awesome, because always training all the time. Oh, I never knew that, but yes, I am always training. But it's not just always training like physically, but how things kind of connect. That, as well as, teaching workshops, doing some, free yoga classes to be able to, make the world a better place in general. I'm not sure. Beyond that, planning my next program and just putting out social media too. I think it's been really beneficial to see into what's actually living healthy, showing people how it can be done, how it is done. And if we're saying that other things people are not qualified, we just got to show it and do it ourselves. It's like, okay, then this is it. This is the bar.
Yeah. She's holding her hand up high.
It's not limbo, guys. It's not limbo. It's a vertical jump.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Everyone will be watching with bated breath to see. We'll put a link also in with a link to FitSphere so people can find out more as well, and all your social media tags too.
Where can we go on to one of your classes?
You mean public classes?
Yeah, just ones where we can actually pay or.
So I do a few free things. So I do like little workouts on my social media. And those have had really good, really
so
good
people are just
comments.
Following along live.
Well, not live yet. I'm still building up to that. Still seeing which platform's good. Whether it be Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is getting really good in the sense that now you can save your live. But then also, how do people get to it at the same time? My goal with FitSphere is also to go more global, so not just be localized. So I'm putting out stories, and then the stories that do really well are becoming actual posts. And beyond that, teaching workshops. So I'm doing 12 a year with Yoga Movement. Oh no, actually 24 a year.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. That's a good chance to do a workshop. Yeah.
So there is chance to do a workshop. Those do extremely well as well. Like people have the one that I do now, people have been coming like 3-4 times before. So, and they've given me the feedback that they have gotten stronger. Now that they know how they can do this in an optimal way, there's no backing down, which is really good. Like how to do, a plank, like contracting your front body, and there's no, like I call it pussying out now, and like now that you should be on your toes, there's no like low heels, like it's really fun. So they've been working with me on this journey. Besides those workouts,
I'm sure I'm launch a FitSphere somewhere.
Yeah, FitSphere, like the program, like you can have live at home, like you can have, you do the program whenever you want, wherever you need, and that's pretty much the best I can do, like having my voice or my techniques wherever you go. Yeah. And the goal with FitSphere is also to be able to teach you what you can do with what you have. So it's not just here's the workout, do it, but I'm teaching you on how you can create your own fitness.
Awesome. And then obviously a couple of your favorite things, clearly apparel-wise, is Reebok. We love Reebok.
I mean, Reebok has great brand messages. Before was Be More Human when I first joined, and Perfect Never. Just the concepts of improving and self-betterment, I think, is something that I really fall in line with. And it was funny that, once they came on board with me, I realized that that's actually who I've always been. So it's been a really natural mesh, and it's been really fun to kind of promote that, and really natural because it's something that has helped push me too. So with their support, not having to worry about what I'm going to wear, having a platform and whatnot, now I'm just like being able to think of other things and do better in other stuff.
And what about any other, yoga brands or anything else that is your go-to?
What do you mean?
So any yoga mat that you love or
not really.
tools?
I think that it's really just whatever's
that's good.
Nice.
Yeah,
like you can
there's
always
because there's yoga snobs that will only use certain things, right? But clearly you're happy to.
No, I think that if you really want to, there's an eco-friendly mats and whatnot, and it's really fun to be able to make your whole practice well-rounded. And it's great now that there's so many brands that cater to your philosophy. As I said, Reebok Woman has the brand messages that cater with me. There could be a brand of yoga apparel that fits in with your philosophy, especially with recycled plastics or bamboo wear. There's so much accessibility out there now that you can get your hands on. So it's a really fun ride, and once you start to figure things out and you're figure out what your needs are, then you're able to serve yourself better too and serve the community. Things will grow. Because once you start looking healthy, your friends are going to want to know what you're on. And they're like, you're looking great. And it's like, well, I'm feeling great too. I'm doing this and this and this and blah, blah, blah. And then, it starts to impact those around you and create a great lifestyle.
Clearly different friends to mine.
Yeah.
Can I get fit without doing any exercise, without dieting and staying up late at night?
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
Computer says no.
Well, just start somewhere. Squat. Just tell them to squat.
Squat while they clean their teeth. That's the takeaway.
Say yes, you can.
Aaron, any other questions from you?
It's all good.
No,
Yep,
that's
super.
wonderful. All right, as we said, we'll include all of the links down below so you can follow Liv on FitSphere and try out her program. Thank you very much, Liv, for joining us today.
Thank you, Nat and Aaron.
And that's another episode for this week. So join us, please, next week on KultureFit. Thank you, everyone.